Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Well, actually, welcome me back to YouTube because I haven't made a video in so long. I do apologize. But today I want to talk about what's going on in my life a little bit and how it's affecting my life in my van. Because it's not super awesome. So let's jump into this. First of all, as you can see, nothing really new has happened with the van. Everything's pretty much the same. I don't know if I told you guys, I got another leisure battery, so now I have two. So 200 amp hours battery. I told you about the internet, so I've got my internet hooked up right here, and that stays on all the time. So I have great internet. I do love that. So, okay, so now about the fun stuff. Things have been a little bit strange. I got through tax season okay, and that's why I haven't been making videos. It was pretty crazy. It had some great days. I worked with great people, but it had some really challenging days. And, yeah, I've decided taxes are not for me. I don't want to do taxes again in the foreseeable future. So I happen to have gotten a job offer from a lady that I had interviewed with before I got the tax job. And she said, hey, the person I hired didn't work out. Are you interested? And I said, and it's in the town I live. And the tax job was almost an hour away. So I said, yes, I am interested. That would be wonderful. So I went and chatted with her, and she said, okay, great, let's do this, And I said, great, I'll give 2 weeks to my business that I work for. And she's like, okay. I said, in the meantime, I'll come in maybe on the weekend and start, working. So I worked for her on a Sunday, and I was getting trained by her daughter, who also wanted the bookkeeping job. But the mother, the owner of the business, said, I'm not going to work with family. It's not a good idea. No, no, no. And then so the following week, I gave my notice at the CPA I was working at for taxes. I gave my notice, and they said that, I could leave earlier than the 2 weeks. I'm like, great. So then I texted the new job lady, and I said, hey, how about I start on Wednesday or whatever I said, Wednesday, I think. And I didn't hear back from her. And I said, well, this is weird. And so Friday rolls around, and she finally texted me, and she said, I decided that I'm just going to let my daughter have the job. And I said, great. Isn't that wonderful? I quit my job for you, woman, because you gave me the job. And I started the job, and there was nothing about what I did that day, because it was just training. I was just getting in information. It wasn't like she didn't think I was good enough for the job or whatever. It was just that she finally gave in to her daughter, and she said, okay, you can have the job, fine. So I was in a bit of a pickle because I had no job, and that seems to be a habit in my life, and I don't like that very much. So yeah, I'm in a real problem with cash flow, and so that's kind of impacted my van life, which is kind of what I want to talk to you about. Because when you don't have money, so I'm in this predicament now where I don't have much gas. I don't have money to get gas. I can't charge my van unless I drive it. I don't have solar panels. So I'm at a spot where, okay, pretty soon I'm not going to have lights. I'm not going to be able to power anything. That's going to be weird. That's going to throw me back in my van life dark ages, which was last spring. I went like 6 months without power and without anything, and I just kind of lived that way. But now that I have all this stuff, and I've got a microwave and a toaster, and I dry my hair in the van, and I'm used to living it up, and so now I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to go back to not having anything? I got out my Coleman stove. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got my Coleman stove. So my electrical skillet that I used to make my breakfast, it's like, okay, I got to swap that out to my Coleman stove so I don't use power, because here's another problem that's happening. My two batteries are not lasting like they used to at all. Like, they're only a year old, like not even a year old, 9 months and 6 months to 9 months. And like they're going dead like overnight. It's incredible. The only thing I have plugged into them consistently is my fridge and my internet, and I've been doing that for months and months, and my power's been totally fine. In the morning I could blow dry my hair, I could straighten my hair, I could make my breakfast with my electric skillet, no problem. Sometimes I even use the microwave. No problem with power at all. And now this last week, I last week I was making something in my skillet, and I have my inverter thing here that shows the power, right? And I was doing it and I wasn't paying attention because my back was to it, and I hear this kind of beeping. I'm like, what's going on with that? What? And I looked around. Oh, I know it. what what made me notice there was no power, because my bacon stopped cooking. It was like in there and it's just stopped cooking, and I'm like, what's going on? And so I looked around. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a beeping sound, and it was all the way down to like the red, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have no power at all. And I was down to like 12.3 or something. It was really bad, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're not supposed to get your batteries down that low. But I had no idea. It had never happened before, and I wasn't doing anything different. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so, I turned it on to get it up, and I couldn't finish cooking. I had to go out, and so now I've been trying to like power it up constantly. So I'm driving, up and down my town and in the hills, and I'm trying to power this thing up. And every morning it gets down to 12.8 or 12.7. And just for reference, like when it's fully charged, it's like 13.7, I want to say. 14 is like, I think when it's, but like generally a 100 is like 13.8, 13.7. Now I can only get it up to, like, when it's charging, it might say 13.6 or 13.7, but whenever I turn off my van, it'll go straight down to 13.4. And then by the end of the night, it's 12.8. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not doing anything different. And so something is going on with this. So I have to ask my van guy. I have to talk to Ron about it, but I don't know what he can do about it. It's just everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. Nothing, there's no flipped switch, for that, whatever that is. It all looks set up just the way it has been. So that's a problem. So now that I don't have money because of that job situation, I can't put gas in, so I can't drive and power my van. So now I'm going to be stuck in one place with a van that doesn't have power and no way to power it because I don't have solar panels. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, everything is just steamrolled and steamrolled. It's just crazy, and it's awful, and everything has just gone wrong. And yeah, I don't really know what to do. I mean, I don't know. The good thing is that the lady who hired her daughter, like 3 weeks later, she texted me and she said, yeah, that didn't work out. Do you want to talk? And I said, yes, I do want to talk. So yeah, we chatted, and I am starting that job. So that's very good news. So I'm not totally destitute. You don't have to worry too much, but it's just going to take a little while for money to come in. And that's a problem when you live in a van, when you were depending on gas money to power your life, and I mean, I guess if you lived in an apartment or house, it would be the same thing, but you can go a little while before they turn off your stuff, I guess, and I don't know. I don't know, like, is it better to live in a van in this situation or in an apartment in this situation where you don't have money coming in? I mean, what do you think? Which one do you think would be better? Like, you could get along for a longer amount of time, maybe an apartment. But I don't know, like this one time I forgot to pay my power bill, and they shut it off pretty quick. And it's just like, dude, wait a minute. Come on, this is power you're talking about. People need power. You can't just turn it off willy-nilly. Anyway, but I'm sure everything will go fine because, I've been in bad situations before, and it always works out. And so I just thank God about that. And also my family and friends, everything's going to be fine. But it's challenging here in a van, I tell you what. But I still got my Speedy right here. Do you want to see Speedy? Hold on. Okay, here's Speedy. She's eating her hay. I just let her out onto my bed and she's happily munching her hay now. Hey, baby. Look up. There she is. Oh, yeah. Hi, what is this thing, Speedy? Oh, and if any of you are interested, I am starting a new YouTube channel called Use Your Head. And this one, my latest one's kind of good. I kind of like it. So maybe you will too. So check it out. The link will be in the description. Thanks again. Speaking of things just getting worse and worse, this spilled. I don't know. It was sitting up here. I guess it was a little bit too precarious of a position, and I took a corner and it spilled, and now I have to clean up all this wet. So darn it.